Pompeo reportedly hosted dozens of elaborate dinners paid for by American taxpayers' dollars, and the record showed only 14% of the guests were diplomats or foreign officials. And so this is out of Business Insider. So for those of you who are always worried about your tax-paying dollars and where they're going, take a look at this. Secretary of the State Mike Pompeo allegedly spent taxpayer money to host multiple dinners with CEO, media personalities, conservative politicians, and foreign officials, NBC reported. Officials in the department raised concerns when these Madison dinners began in 2018 when Pompeo started in his role as Secretary of State. So there were allegedly more of these dinners planned through at least all the way to October before the coronavirus pandemic emerged. So former Inspector General Steve Linick was allegedly investigating Pompeo over a Saudi arms deal and the use of the aid to perform personal tasks. So Secretary of State Pompeo has allegedly spent taxpayer money to have 24 Madison dinners since he began his role in 2018, NBC News has reported. So Pompeo allegedly held elaborate, unpublicized affairs where Pompeo and his wife Susan Pompeo held regular dinners with billionaire CEO, Supreme Court Justice, political heavyweights, and others. The events were held in historic diplomatic reception rooms and continued until the coronavirus pandemic forced them to end in March, according to NBC News. The dinners are named after James Madison, the fourth president of the fifth Secretary of State. Madison liked to invite foreign diplomats to exchange ideas over dinner, but Madison certainly paid his own entertainment expenses. Kevin Gutzman, a professor at Western Connecticut State University who wrote a biography of Madison, told NBC News State Department officials involved in dinners said they raised concerns internally that the events were essentially using federal resources to cultivate a donor and supporter base for Pompeo's political ambitions, complete with extensive contact information that gets sent back to Susan Pompeo's personal email address, NBC News reported. So the department's legal advisor told officials that events hosted by Secretary of State should be related to foreign policy. Additionally, congressional aides told NBC News that some congressional committees are looking into these dinners. So I am concerned by the allegations of the secretaries appears to be using these taxpayer resources to host large domestic focused political gatherings once again that serve little to no foreign policy purpose. But using this is abuse of taxpayer money is what it's looking like. And I'm just adding that in there. So they're investigating to see if this is really dinners that have a purpose or if it's just leisure or just kind of using money that they don't need to be using. So Senate Bob Mendez of the top diplomat or Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee wrote a letter to NBC reported. So the letter requested a complete accounting of the funds used for the dinners and copies of any remarks Pompeo delivered at the Madison dinner. And so Pompeo was reported under investigation for former State Department Inspector General Steve Linick, who was fired on Friday, according to the Representative Ellen Engel, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Linick was investigating Pompeo's decision to expedite an $8 billion arms sale to Saudi Arabia at the request, and was also looking into allegations that Pompeo made a staffer walk his dog and pick up his dry cleaning. Democrats have raised the question whether Linick's investigations caused his firing, and Engel said that over the weekend he had launched an investigation into Linick's ouster. So it is not clear if Linick was investigating the Madison dinners, According to the NBC News investigation, internal States Department calendars showed that future dinners were planned through at least to October of 2020. So before the coronavirus pandemic forced the cancellation in March, NBC News also got a hold of a master guest list for every dinner when Pompeo took office in 2018 through the end of 2019. And so the master list includes names of nearly 500 invitees specific who accepted, although it is possible some people RSVP'd but didn't show up in the Foggy Bottom for dinner. So NBC News reported or wrote this. So all of the invitees, 29% were of corporate America. Around 25% of the members were media entertainment. 29% were corporate America, 25% were media entertainment industry, primarily conservative media members, and 30% worked in politics and government. 14% were diplomats and foreign officials. Every single member of the House or the Senate who has been invited is a Republican, NBC News wrote. So Morgan Ortagus, a State Department spokeswoman, told NBC that the dinners are a world-class opportunity to discuss the mission of the State Department and the complex foreign policy matters facing our exceptional nation. So invited guests have included many foreign diplomats, thought leaders, academics, government leaders at many levels, business leaders, members of Congress, and the media, each of whom has a stake in America and its leadership in the world, Ortega said. Former Republican National Committee Chairman and MSNBC contributor Michael Steele attended one of the dinners and told NBC News that there's no big deal there, saying that the dinners like this were part of a parcel for Pompeo's diplomatic role. Neither the White House nor State Department responded to Business Insider's request for the comment on this issue. And so this right here is sort of a thorn in some people who are concerned about all of these issues with money and the budget deficit and what have you. And then taxpayers, why are they always hearing about we don't have any money, and then you have things like this happen? And so this is yet but another thing that people who are of interest want to look into where American taxpayer dollars are going. So having said that, I'm going to let this video go. What do you think about this? Is this something that should happen, or they should find another way to have these dinners or scale them down, not have as many guests, or how do you think this should be conducted? Most of these people, I would believe, if they're entertainers and they're high profile individuals, they probably are very well paid. So if these dinners are scheduled, they're basically invited to these dinners and they're not really paying for these dinners. There's someone else paying, and that is the taxpayers, and that is a big problem. That's the problem that they want to look into. Thoughts, feedback, comment on this? Thanks for listening.